Welcome to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast, a relaxing and informative show where we explore anxiety, panic, and PTSD, sharing how you can overcome them for life.
Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I am so happy to be with you again today as together we can consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, I'm talking about the cycle of stress, pain, and anxiety. We often don't talk about pain here, but it is a real part of this entire cycle. And chronic pain with anxiety, they are often going hand in hand. So not everybody who has anxiety has pain, and not everybody who has chronic pain has anxiety, but we often see them coupled together. And you may get a better idea of why that might be after today's episode. First, I think I will talk about the stresses, but what I want to do today is give you a little picture of the neuroscience of how stress can fuel persistent pain, and therefore how your anxiety may be causing you to have pain. And I am no neuroscientist, as I am sure you all know, but I will do my best to just explain this we're not going deep at all. It's just some different parts of the brain and how the stress triggers these things. So let's just jump right into it. First, I want to talk about stresses, different stresses in our lives, because sometimes we only think of particular things as stress. And so I have a little bit more well-rounded picture here for you today. I'm thinking that you may not have thought about past injuries as being a stress, but it is. Past injuries or accidents or health conditions, these are all stress that we don't often think of as being stress. You know, so many times I hear from people, well, my anxiety, it just came out of the blue. Well, anxiety never just comes out of the blue. Stress is stress. The body is responding. It's not making this up. It's not deficient in some way, so it's just turned on some stress, some anxiety. We have stressors that we don't often recognize. So again, that could be these past injuries, accidents, health conditions. You know, we also want to remember in the realm of relationships, whether they be family or romantic or work relationships, relationships can be stressful, and they may cause us stress in ways that we are not even aware of. Work can be stressful. Work can be a source of joy, of accomplishment, but it can also be a place of stress. And another thing that you may not look at as a stressor is your anxiety. Anxiety is a stress. It is a stress on the mind and the body. Also, we want to remember stressful to us is sadness and grief. So is anger, childhood adversity, unresolved painful memories, PTSD, social isolation or rejection, discrimination, and so much more. You can see where I'm going with that, right? As we may not have looked at those things as being stressful to our mind and body, but they are. So things don't just come out of the blue. We are often stressed by things we are not recognizing as stress. Now, I didn't give you this list to make you go out and worry about these things. Don't do that. You're already living through these things. And we don't have all of them happening all at once. This is all part of being human. It's not weird or you're not wrong to have any of these happening or have had happened in your life. It is part of the human condition. And we are equipped to being able to deal with it, as long as we are able to recognize what is going on. So I want to make it clear that if you are struggling with any of these things, it is perfectly fine to go and get help with them. This is an opportunity to recognize maybe in your life that things are unresolved, right? That you maybe can use some help with some of these stressors, and that there is no shame in doing that. It is actually a sign of health to go and get some help. We also can have stress from pain. Our sensitized nervous system is a stress. Fear, worry, and anticipation of pain are stressful. And associating pain with some catastrophic health issue is a stressor. And these are very common with people who have what we call anxiety, people who are overly sensitized. The nervous system, as you can see, once it is sensitized like that, this happens very easily. We live with more anxiety, more fear, more anticipation of not only pain, but of everything. We anticipate everything as a problem. We anticipate everything as going to go against us. So even in that fear, worry, and anticipation, we are already causing ourselves more stress. So you can see how this is all winding up. We have so much going on, and maybe we hadn't been paying attention to some of these things and had not known that some of these stressors were part of why our anxiety pops up here and there. We have things that we maybe haven't resolved or taken care of or gotten healthy around. So before I get talking about the brain piece here and how our body is affected, I want to thank today's sponsors. I am very grateful to have Ned with us. Have you tried Ned's Distress Blend yet? I think you should give it a try. I want to tell you about this product, and it was in development for quite a while. This 1-to-1 formula of CBD and CBG is made from the world's purest full-spectrum hemp and features a botanical infusion of ashwagandha, cardamom, and cinnamon, and it's USDA certified organic. CBG is as as the mother of all cannabinoids because of how effective it is at combating anxiety and stress by inhibiting the reuptake of GABA, the neurotransmitter responsible for stress regulation. Ashwagandha is an amazing Ayurvedic adaptogen that enhances your body's resilience to stress. Cardamom and cinnamon are delicious, and they add to the taste of the de-stress blend. The cinnamon is a powerful prebiotic that supports your gut, a key player in your mental health. And cardamom combats stress by helping reduce your blood pressure and cortisol levels. If you'd like to give Ned a try, Anxiety Coaches Podcast listeners get 15% off Ned products with code ACP. Visit helloned.com/ACP to get access. That's HELLONED.com/ACP to get 15% off. Thank you, Ned, for sponsoring the show and offering our listeners a natural remedy for some of life's most common health issues. Fastic is also with us today. Now, Fastic is about intermittent fasting, and I know you've done it before, you just may not have recognized it. It's like going out to dinner and having a meal, and then going home, going to bed, and sleeping late in the morning. You have fasted. Intermittent fasting is doing the same thing, only consciously. And many people download this app for weight loss, but fasting is good for many other things, and that isn't even all Fastic has to offer. The app provides small daily tasks that support holistic health, from better nutrition to better sleep. Fastic prevents new information in a way that isn't overwhelming. What I love about using the Fastic app is that the timer of the app tracks your eating and fasting windows, so you don't need to keep an eye on the clock. It'll let you know what's actually happening in your body during your fast as well, and when you are ready to eat. For more support during your eating window, Fastic has tons of recipes and nutritional guidance in their Fastic Academy, and it's all verified by experts. Go to fastic.com or click the link in the show notes. That's the easiest way to download the app and use code ACP to get $50 off a 1 year of Fastic Plus. That's FASTIC.com or click the link in the show notes to download the Fastic app to get $50 off your first year with promo code ACP. Okay, back to our chronic pain and the brain. Okay, so what does the brain tell the body to do when it's stressed? Blood flow shifts from the frontal lobes, the conscious way of thinking. That's our prefrontal cortex. This is the place where we have executive functioning and our conscious thinking, our awareness. So blood flow shifts away from the frontal lobes into the limbic system, the emotional, reacting, fight or flight system, that part of the brain. That's the amygdala and the autonomic nervous system. So when you get stressed, your blood flow shifts out of your conscious, executive functioning thinking into your emotional, reacting, fight or flight part of the brain. And you know this because you have experienced this. All of a sudden, you can't remember what to do, you can't think clearly, and you're at a loss. I know I'm supposed to do XYZ, but I can't even remember. So, just to talk about the brain quickly here, again, I'm no neuroscientist and I don't even play one on TV. The amygdala is the part of our brain that sends the signals to activate the autonomic nervous system, activating our fight or flight, and that would be in the sympathetic side of the nervous system. Then, what is the autonomic nervous system? That is the part of the brain that can cause acute spasms and other physiological changes anywhere in the body. Isn't that something? So you're not only triggering your amygdala, but this other autonomic part of your nervous system that can cause acute spasms and other physiological changes anywhere in your body. That's why when you have anxiety, it isn't just that you get twitches in your belly or in your heart fluttering. No, you could get anything anywhere. Isn't that absurd? But this is what the mind, the brain, has the power to do. And then there is the anterior cingulate cortex. Emotional factors will light up this area of the brain, the ACC. And when that is activated, another part of the brain turns off. And the part of the brain that turns off when the emotional factors light up the ACC is the DLPFC, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, an area of the brain that helps to decrease pain. So there's an area of your brain that is in that prefrontal cortex that helps to decrease pain. But when you are stressed, when emotional factors light up the ACC part of your brain, this area that decreases pain turns off. So you may have been having pain that your brain was able to decrease, and because you are stressed, that area of the brain does not light up as much. It's decreased, and so you are feeling the pain more, or you are feeling new pain because you have this other area in the autonomic nervous system that can cause acute spasms and other physiological changes anywhere in the body. So I'm hoping to see that it is the brain that is sending out all of this. And it is your brain that you want to take care of, especially you want to have your good blood flow going to that prefrontal cortex, that dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. You want that area of your brain up and running. And you do that by reducing your stress. So what else is affected? What other parts of the body are affected? So we talked about what the brain could do. And I want to talk about the areas of the body that some of these things that it can do are showing up. It can show up in your muscles. And where do you have muscles? All over the place. So you could be twitching muscles almost anywhere. Blood flow is affected. Your nervous system through your entire body is affected. Your heart, this is why many people can register their stress in their heart. They feel the fluttering or the skip beats or the thump or the heavy beats or the pounding heart, right? That's a familiar one. Your gastrointestinal system. We all know the gut feeling of being stressed or an anxiety attack. And your urinary system. Many times people are running to the bathroom because when you are stressed, any parts of their body can be affected. And what's interesting? Having worked with people for as long as I have, I've heard it all. There are so many variations of combinations of physical pain and sensations, because some of them aren't even really painful, but just weird sensations, that you begin to wonder, well, how can all of these things be caused by the same anxiety, the same stress in one's life? And now we know, of course, that hopefully I explained it so you could understand because of where it's affecting in the brain and what the brain is sending out. You can also feel other things. You could feel pain almost anywhere in your body. That's kind of weird. Anywhere in your body, you could feel pain. You can feel tingling. You could feel numbness. You could feel burning. And you could feel all of those anywhere in your body. This is what the brain can do. You could experience IBS and bladder problems. You could have palpitations, rapid heart rate, headaches and migraines, and so the list goes on. There is no one combination. There is no, when you have anxiety, panic, you feel this. And this is why I am so blessed to have people in the group feel comfortable enough to share what they are experiencing so other people can see, oh, well, I have something completely different. Isn't that amazing that we can have such different effects from the same levels of stress and anxiety? So what happens is that the nervous system can learn to feel these sensations that I was talking about here. The nervous system learns to feel these sensations, and as your cycle repeats, the brain and the central nervous system can become wired to make the body feel, get ready for it, continuous pain. So this would be the chronic pain that people are reporting and living with. Oftentimes, even the absence of structural or tissue damage, there's no apparent structural or physical damage, no tissue damage, but the body is feeling this pain because the nervous system learned to feel these sensations. Now, this reminds me of the work of Dr. John Sarno, and you can look him up on, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube about him. He's got some wonderful books out, The Divided Mind, but the mind-body syndrome, I think he called it. And he was way ahead of his time. He was a back surgeon, and he stopped doing surgery and writing prescriptions and started educating people out of their pain. This is very real. And so I want you to feel inspired today. Inspired that if you are stuck in chronic pain, if you have anxiety, panic that brings up a lot of physical symptoms and sensations and pain, that there is a way out of it. You don't have to live with this forever. And that we are going to begin by calming our nervous system. That is our whole goal here at ACP. And this is your way out of this chronic cycle of pain. I hope that you are inspired today. I know it was a lot of talk about things we don't talk about usually, pain and stressors, but it's important to understand where this is all coming from. So again, I hope you are inspired to keep going and to bring more peace and calm to your life and your nervous system. Before I read today's quote, I was wondering if you prefer the show without ads, or perhaps you might like to have access to the entire back catalog of over 600 episodes. Maybe you'd like some bonus meditation episodes. All of that and more are available for $5 a month with our premium Supercast membership. Go to anxietycoaches.supercast.com and join us ad-free today. The link will be in the show notes. And now for today's quote. There is nothing like a little physical pain to keep your mind off your emotional problems. And that's from Dr. John Sarno. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's episode of the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. Find more information at theanxietycoachespodcast.com.